Terence Crawford makes it sound like the Errol Spence rematch is in jeopardy. In a brand new social media post and tweet, Terence Crawford says, "I done heard it all now. Errol Spence Jr., it's okay though, because all in all, I'm glad it's over and done with. I wish you well, my brother." End quote. I do not know how you guys are viewing it, but for me, that doesn't sound all too promising. As you guys know, if you follow my channel, Errol Spence Jr., hey, stop that kid, man, there. Errol Spence Jr. announced about last week that he had a cataract surgery, right? So Errol Spence having this cataract surgery, it puts him out for X amount of weeks. That goes without saying because it's a surgery. So with Errol Spence being in recovery, having continuous problems with his eye, and then now Terence Crawford putting out a tweet such as that, like, "I wish you well, my brother, and I done heard it all," you know, it really has people skeptical that this rematch definitely happens. I don't know what the game plan is. I have not seen with my own eyes the contract that Errol Spence and Terence Crawford have. As we know, there was a bilateral rematch clause, meaning the winner or loser could push for a rematch if they so choose. Errol Spence did that last year, and people thought the fight could possibly happen at the end of the year, but with the holidays and whatnot, that wasn't feasible, so they didn't do it last year. So people thought it was going to happen first, second quarter of 2024. We here now. We are in 2024, and we haven't heard any kind of positive traction like, oh, negotiations are going smooth, it's going to happen at this weight. Because there are, despite we know Crawford won, there are some inherent discussions. I won't even say obstacles, but I'll say discussions that could be obstacles or become obstacles. Namely, the weight. Like in terms of the money and the split, that's probably figured out by the terms in the initial contract. Like the winner gets this X amount of split. But there are some things where many people believe Errol Spence overstayed his welcome at the 147-pound welterweight division, and they don't think it is realistic for him to continue to make it at his age and with his body type, his phenotype. So can he make 147 again? I don't know. So that would definitely be a problem. And then now it looks like Terence Crawford is upset because Errol Spence is, quote, coming out with excuses. Now, I already did a video about the Errol Spence excuses, and I broke it down. But in case you missed that video, check it out. But I'll give you guys some of the cliff notes. With that video, I was basically saying that Errol Spence, like, I feel like everybody I meet in real life or meet from the internet, from, you know, my channel or whatnot, everyone starts off as neutral. And then from that point, you could do things and I can observe how you move. And then now you go up or down in terms of like my respect for you. But everyone's at a basic neutral. I don't trust you. I don't not trust you. But how you act, how you move, that determines where I place you, right? Like, oh, this person's cool. You know, I could trust him. Or, you know, I don't mind telling them stuff about my personal life. But more often than not, that's not the case for me. You know, I have trust issues, I guess you could say. So the reason that I'm saying this is so you guys have a better understanding of how I kind of review people and a journey into my mind. So when it comes to, let's say, a fighter or Errol Spence Jr., the reason why I will be willing to give him the benefit of the doubt is because I've watched and covered his career, and throughout his career, he has been a man, and he has showed to be a man and to be a warrior and to be resilient and to be a man of his word. So until otherwise proven, I will take what he says. I'm not saying I'm going to believe anything he says, but if it sounds realistic, if it sounds feasible, if it sounds plausible, and it makes sense, then yeah, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, but I'm willing to hear somebody out. Versus if you have bad equity with somebody, or somebody's been a proven liar, yeah, you're not gonna listen to the stuff that they say. Like even with Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, I've already went over it. Terence Crawford, he's a great fighter, skilled, but he has a lot of inconsistencies in things that he says. Like 1 minute he'll say, everybody knew I was gonna whitewash Amir Khan and beat him, and then future interviews, he'll do a future interview and he'll say something like, oh, everybody thought I was gonna lose. I've been an underdog and people thought Jeff Horn was gonna beat me. People thought Amir Khan was gonna beat me. And I'm like, wait, you said in the previous interview on an Instagram live that nobody thought that Amir Khan could beat you. And then you think people forget about it, what you said, and then you'll do a future interview and you'll talk about like, oh, I was an underdog in this fight and people thought Mean Machine and Amir Khan was gonna beat me. But that's not what you previously said. You know what I mean? But Errol Spence, I keep saying the same thing because this is how I feel. Errol Spence has been a man of integrity and a man of his word. If he says, hey, I gotta cool out, I'm gonna buy a ranch, he buys a ranch. If he says, after my fight, I wanna be on my ranch and kick it with my family, he kicks it with his family and you see pictures of him at his ranch. If he says, like, more as it pertains to boxing, if Errol Spence says something to the effect of, yo, I'm going to clean up my side of the street, which he famously said at a podium in New York. I was there. He says, I'm gonna clean up my side of the street and then Terence Crawford can get it. It's literally what he said. It's on video. So it's not like, oh, ego, you're being biased, because this is what happens. When people can't prove you wrong and they can't outthink you or outlogic your logic, they say, oh, you're being biased. But it's not being biased when it's all things that you or myself can easily prove, because it's been videotaped. It's been documented. So at the end of the day, there is no being biased with the facts. There's no being biased with the truth. That's like saying there was a big earthquake, I believe it was in 1989 in California, right? Oh, you're being biased, you hate California. No, that's what happened in California, in San Francisco during that year. You get what I'm saying? So there's no being biased when it comes to speaking facts, speaking the real, speaking the truth. So Errol Spence, he's done everything. He said, I'm gonna clean up my side of the street. He fought Sean Porter in the unification. He fought big fights with Mikey Garcia, who was then working with Al Heyman and PBC in a partnership. He fought another unification with Ugas. So he did do the heavy lifting, cleaned up his side of the street, collected all the belts. So it made it nice and convenient and easy for Terence Crawford to then fight one person, show up on said night versus Errol Spence, and bring his one belt to the potluck. And in turn, he was able to defeat Errol Spence. That's why he became 2X, right? Because Errol Spence had it in a nice, convenient package. He didn't have to go around, and that's what some people are not acknowledging in boxing. Some guys like Errol Spence, if he would have beat Terence Crawford, the journey would have been more respected, because you knew everyone that he fought on each stop. And then if he were able to beat Terence Crawford, you're like, okay, he beat the final master. So one by one, he collected the belts. But when you look at like Terence Crawford or even Devin Haney, the belts were in the hands of predominantly one person, Errol Spence at welterweight or George Kambosos at lightweight. So all Devin had to do is bring the WBC belt to the Kambosos fight and beat that one given person for the belt. Versus in the past, some people have had to win tournaments and one by one go through these like succession plans to be the final boss with all the belts. So all undisputeds are definitely not made like equal. Or like when Crawford fought Indongo to become undisputed, he had like 2 belts. Crawford had like 2 belts. So the undisputed was easy, and the opponent was not somebody that I think is a Hall of Famer. But I digress. We shall see how it all plays out. We shall see what Terence Crawford decides to do. I don't know if the rematch clause expiration is encroaching, or maybe it's past, or if he doesn't want to work with Errol Spence. But he's looking at it like, oh, Errol Spence is making too many excuses, but two things can be true. You're a hell of a fighter, and Errol Spence entered the fight with potential ailments or cataracts or whatever. And again, Errol Spence has built up that respect in the game. He's built up that equity where, yeah, you take what he says with a grain of salt because he hasn't been proven to be a liar throughout his career or find the need to lie. So that's how I see it. I don't know what happens next. Best of luck to both fighters. This is my opinion. Subscribe to the channel for more boxing content.
Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with a $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new, interactive, and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.